Hey. Welcome to Friday night. What are we doing on Friday night, Bacon? You're muted, buddy. Bacon. Can't hear you. Nothing coming out of your mouth, buddy.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
All right. I'll mute myself when we go.
We got an echo because you're sitting in the same room as our guest, Mr. Declan Shalvey. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, how's it going? I was going for the mute button. I'm very good. Thanks very much. All good. Thanks for asking.
Did you have a good show today? How was Columbus?
Yeah, it was cool. It was like a later start, so got to ease into it quite nicely. But kept going the whole time. Everyone's really nice. Although I'm not going to go to a city and go, everyone's a jerk. I hate this place. I'm out of here.
It's Ohio. I mean, you can only expect something. But thank you so much for coming on. And what we're doing tonight, guys, we're doing our typical sketch claim show. We don't have Jeff, so I have to do all the heavy lifting here. So we use a live claim system. So we'll put up a claim banner for anybody who's not used to that. Once the claim banner is put up, the first person to put claim in the chat, not what you see, it's what we see, because the algorithm, the way it works, you see it instantly, but we don't see it until it really comes to us. If we get more than 5 people claiming, more than 3 people claiming, we go to a wheel spin, and the wheel spin will take up to 5, and then whoever wins the wheel spin gets to choose the character. And Declan's working on A5 paper, which is kind of would you say 6x10, something like that?
6x9? I mean, it's technically because it's from my stock at home.
Oh, no,
it is 210 by 148 millimeters, or sorry, roughly 8 by 6 inches, roughly.
I was gonna say we're America. We don't use centimeters.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not freedom paper. I'm sorry.
Not freedom paper. No, it's not. Let's do that though. Let's throw up a claim here and see what happens. I didn't get my wheel set yet, Bacon. What's going on here?
You haven't set it up yet?
Well, it's sort of set up. It's there. It's there. It's just not ready to get yet.
All right, I see 2.
John Rowland, Dan Joseph. I'm not going to keep these claims open long, people.
Any ladies out there want to claim Declan Shalvey? That's fine.
Ooh.
But all right.
I think we should go.
We're going to call it. So, John Rowland, you are the winner. I did not move my setup. I'm in the exact same spot I've been sitting in for like a year and a half. Batman.
Oh, Batman! There's a good start.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Bacon, are you
guys, while he's drawn? If you have any questions for Declan, just feel free to put them in the chat. Same as always, guys. Just on a Friday night instead of a Tuesday.
Same story, different day. My wife bought me an air fryer for my birthday, and it's one of those big ones. It's got like the French doors. You can use it as a convection oven, all that kind of stuff. So she's cooking chicken downstairs, and it smells delicious.
Oh man, no, I'm hungry again.
Yeah, we haven't eaten. We came straight from the show.
You haven't had enough con dogs.
I haven't had a single one yet.
Actually, no, I'd had a bit of pizza in the green room. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah. All right, good.
Pizza in the green room. You must not be at a Fan Expo show.
Sorry, what's that, Ken?
Pizza in the green room. You must not be at a Fan Expo show. At Fan Expo, you get chips. Now, actually, the last few shows, they were giving us those vouchers to buy food. Right, Bacon? It wasn't too bad.
I saw that when I went through. Yeah.
He's not listening to me.
Yeah, Ken, they treat everybody like royalty here. It's like a whole setup, like you can make a burrito in the green room.
Nice.
And that is not an analogy for.
Tell Mark Rock thanks for not inviting me.
Sorry, but Bacon, just mind the table. Just
yes,
because it wobbles a bit. Just.
Yeah, rookie, don't bang the table when the guy's turn to draw.
Yeah, I know. I've done that 100,000 times when we do the shows.
Yeah, Batman has two mouths, right? Because I might have.
He does now.
We have a question from the audience, Declan. What are your favorite characters you have worked on? It comes from Amelia.
Well, that I've worked on. I mean, Batman. I love Batman. Like, I got to do a backup story with Scott Snyder for All Star Batman. That was great. I mean, that was terrifying because I always wanted to draw him, and to actually get the job and not panic and freak out is pretty tough. But no, I love that. I mean, Moon Knight's probably my favorite one, not necessarily because of the character, just because of what I got to do on the book. I didn't really know the character that much at all beforehand. I was just like, this isn't Daredevil, right? Was my approach. But trying to think what else. Really loved working on Thunderbolts. That was my first ever Marvel gig, and it was a weird one. It was kind of like the Suicide Squad of Marvel, kind of. But I really, again, a lot of the times it's who you're working with can make a project great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think character-wise. God, I'm trying to remember what I've done for the last 10, 15 years. Sorry, it's not a very good answer. What else have I done?
That's okay.
I mean, I got to do Wolverine there for Marvel Unlimited. That was amazing. Like, I'm very, very lucky. I've gotten to work on mostly stuff that I really, really like. That doesn't actually happen for everybody.
Yeah. Bacon, I think Jeff's having a stroke. I don't understand this.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand what he was trying to say either.
Comic sketch art made you fortunate.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing Jeff.
But it's funny that you said Thunderbolts because the first time I met you, that's all I brought was the Thunderbolts.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Back at a Heroes Con like 10 years ago.
They actually, I think it's this week or next week. This week, they have an omnibus of that actually out.
Oh, okay.
So it's like all of Jeff's run, including my first issues, and it's like 100 and God knows how many comics are in that bloody thing.
Oh yeah,
but
it's gonna be huge.
Neil asked Declan, "What artists, art inspirations do you look up to? What did you look up to growing up?"
Who I looked up to growing up wouldn't necessarily be the same as now. Like my influences have changed over the years, but my guys as a kid was, I mean, Jim Lee. Have you heard of Jim Lee? Yeah, So but I would say Adam Kubert, because he was the guy doing X-Men at the time. Mark Bagley, Amazing Spider-Man, Alan Davis. Those were all my guys when I was young, and then when I got older, I got big into Mazzucchelli, Goran Parlov, Stuart Immonen, like a lot of moodier guys, because my tastes changed after I grew up. Sure. But I mean, I think it's the guys I'm more nervous about. I mean, I was once at a show when Mark Bagley was sitting right next to me. I was like, I can't say anything to him. I still get nervous. It's the people when you met when you were a kid, you loved as a kid, are the ones you get kind of more angsty about.
Yeah, Bacon and I, we were talking about him a little bit before the show. Bacon and I got to meet Jim Davis. Yes, I'm saying it again. We got to meet Jim Davis, and it was just, I can't even explain it. I mean, really, such an amazing moment. To me,
that's the cool thing about comics, man. Like, you actually do get to meet your heroes, like, and not just like one or two, but like so many of them. And in my experience, it's always good. Like, I'm sure there are some I can't think of right now, but like in general, I've had a really good experience. Whoever I've had the opportunity to meet. My one regret is Steve Dillon was at a New York Comic Con one year, and I was there, and I was doing the covers for his Punisher arc. And I didn't have the stones to go up and say hi to him, and like he died like a week later. Oh. So
yeah, that's terrible. Bacon and I, we were at San Diego.
Sorry, I like how I made that out to be like this bad for me. He died. I think I came out of it okay, but yeah. Sorry, you're saying.
Bacon and I were at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and Matt Groening was there, and they kept saying he might come to the table to talk to Bill, like teasing us with that. And then Bill went to see Matt because Matt did a panel, and I was away from the table when Bill left. I came back, and my wife, I said, "Where's Bill?" And my wife said that he was going to see Matt. So I called him. I was like, "Where are you?" And he says, "I'm almost there." he said, "You want me to come back and get you?" And I was like, "No, just forget it. I mean, I don't want you to miss Matt because you got to come back and get me, that kind of thing."
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, Bacon and I were like in Artist Alley where Bill was set up. He's by the animators. I don't know if you've ever been to San Diego Comic-Con, but
yeah, years ago now.
Almost two ends of the floor. And Bacon and I were in Artist Alley, and my wife calls me and says, "Get back here now." Somebody came to the table and said, "Matt's coming." And Bacon found out that, little inspiration, I can hustle.
Yeah, I've never seen you move that fast in my life.
And we got there and he never came.
Oh.
So that was a regret of mine. I should have went with Bill the first time and met Matt.
And San Diego's huge, so running from Artist Alley
where
we were was
I needed oxygen when I got back to the table.
My first time ever I went to America was San Diego Comic-Con, and it was an amazing experience. But then years later, I went back to announce when me and Warren Ellis were doing Injection, and I got like people recognize me on the floor and stuff. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
I had a guy. I was standing in front of John Romita Jr. Him and I were having a conversation, and some guy comes over and he says to me, "Are you Ken from 4C?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. Can I get a picture with you?" And I'm like, "John Romita Jr. is sitting right here. You want to take a picture with me?" Oh my God. And then I was in the bathroom in San Diego and I was washing my hands and some guy comes up and says, "I know this doesn't sound like it's probably not the most appropriate time, but like, really?"
Or maybe it's the most appropriate time.
If you'd asked me a few minutes earlier. Yeah, San Diego's fun. I booked my tickets yesterday.
I haven't been in a long time. Coming from Ireland, I'd need like a really big reason to go back again. I'd like to, just for the time it takes to get there and the time beforehand and afterwards. Sure. It would just be that. So for God's sake, nominate me for an Eisner so I can go to the.
There you go. Tell Bill to get on that for us.
Yeah, come on.
Avi asked. He asked this of every artist: "What's your favorite Batman villain or any character you would like to draw?"
It's a good question. I love Killer Croc. I think it's so cool. So cool to draw. Who else? I drew Mr. Zaz in the arc that we did, and I had an idea with Scott that like if he's killed so many people now, all the cuts are just cuts over, so it's all basically just scar tissue. And when I drew him, it's all, I don't know if you see the pages, like it's all just textured cuts and stuff. That was really fun. I mean, the Joker, of course, but I just think Killer Croc's probably visually the most interesting. Getting all that texture as well. I've nearly finished this, so if somebody wants to suggest the next one.
I was
going to ask where you are. Let's start playing here for Declan.
Some good questions, guys. Keep them coming.
I just wish my answers were better.
We got two claims.
I knew Avi was asking that question for a reason.
Right?
I think we'll go with Dan first, and then Avi, we'll get to you, buddy.
There's Batman.
Look at that, guys.
Good.
Sorry, my computer's camera's not that great.
It's good in there. All right.
So Dan, what would you like, sir? This is the fun waiting part.
Let's put my feet up.
Oh, Wolverine. Sound good?
Mask on or mask off, Dan?
You hear that, Dan?
Mask on.
Well, we're waiting.
is the.
So what are you working on right now, Declan, at home?
At home, I'm starting, or I am pitching a thing to Marvel. Am I having a stroke, or the lights?
I think the lights are literally going out.
That's right behind.
I'm pitching a thing for. Well, I finished up my creator-owned series, Old Dog, the first volume. So I'm going to take a break on that because writing and drawing and coloring your own book is a lot. So I am currently, what am I doing? Alien, I'm writing. The first issue of the new series came out this week. I am pitching something to Marvel for a mini-series to write and draw, so we'll see what happens there. And I'm writing Thundercats that's coming out next year. I don't know if you know what Thundercats is. You take a bit of thunder, you take some cats. There you go.
They mix well together, I hear.
But so I'm in the middle of writing that at the moment. That's really fun. Drew Moss is drawing it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that comes out.
Ah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, especially because there hasn't been any comics in a long time. So it's like, to be fair, there's been Alien comics before, like lots and lots and lots of them. But to be doing a Thundercats, sorry, because it's Thunderbolts, I get a bit tongue tied sometimes. Thundercat bolts. And like covers, a million covers.
Do they reach out a lot for covers, Marvel and DC?
Not DC actually. I never really get DC stuff. Very, very rarely. I generally it's Marvel. I would say I probably do maybe 2 covers for Marvel a month.
Oh wow! Okay.
I added them. I don't know if I told you this, Paolo, because I was trying to get on covers when I started at Marvel and I wasn't having much luck. I've done 256 at this stage. Like it adds up after a while.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it tends to be variant covers now and then. Maybe for a minute, like if there's a mini series, they'll ask me to do the covers for the series. I like doing that because you get to be kind of more involved in the design of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes it's like, hey, do you want to draw a Predator? I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll do that.
Why not?
So I would say primarily Marvel, and then here and there would be like friends of mine who are doing creator-owned books, stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm doing covers for The Displaced at Boom at the moment, but then I also just did a variant for Something's Killing the Children, and what else have I done for Boom? Damn Them All. So it's just little bits here and there.
Ken, didn't you have a story about? I think you're on mute, Ken. Didn't you have a story about Ron Wilson and all the amount of covers he's done for Marvel? Ken, you're on mute.
How'd I get on? Oh. Ron Wilson is credited with 1 less cover than Herb Trimpe for the most covers done by Marvel.
Interesting. I was actually asking that, like, is there a way to find out who's in the most cover? I know it's not going to be me at all. But
I knew the story. I'd heard of it a few times at cons because we've worked with Ron Wilson a few times at shows.
Okay.
And,
but here's the kicker to that story. We did an op with Ron where he would do cover recreations, but only of his covers. So and he did some extras. So one of the ones he did was like an Avengers cover, and when I posted it, somebody said that's not Ron Wilson, that's John Romita. So I was like, oh, let me find out. So I called Ron up and I said, Ron, I don't remember what cover it was, Avengers number blah blah blah. That's credited to John Romita. He goes, yeah, I penciled it. John inked it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like, oh, so you did the pencils, John? And yeah. I said, how often did that happen? He goes, oh, all the time.
Oh,
so who knows how many covers he actually penciled? He didn't get credit. Yeah. But speaking of covers, I just got this cover from Mr. Bill Morrison. I thought you might like to see this. And Paulo's in there too, right?
Oh wow, it's beautiful.
Painted cover to Treehouse of Horror number 9.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Treehouse is the best.
Yeah, I made an overlay for it too when I display it.
Bill just got all his art back.
And then last week was my birthday, and Bill sent me this. Check this out. So this is the cover to a Simpsons comic that Bill did on Post-it notes.
Wow. It's all on Post-it notes?
They're all Post-it notes.
Holy crap.
So he said he was doing on his desk with Post-it notes, and then after he was done, he said, "I'm going to make a cover out of that." and when he got his art back from Bongo earlier in the year, I told him that was my favorite cover, so he gave it to me for my birthday a few days ago.
Oh wow!
Ken, do you know how many covers Trimpy has done?
I think it's like 201 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's close to 200.
But were all those Marvel? I don't think they were all Marvel, right? For you?
Well, that's the Marvel one.
Yeah, specifically to over 250 Marvel covers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Declan might be.
So Declan might have the new lead there, Ken.
Yeah.
We should definitely find out that answer.
I don't know how somebody finds that out. I mean, I'm sure that some of the internet knows.
Yeah, I think Scott Hanna did do the most pages. Inked pages.
Yeah, when you ink Romita, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Scott's a beast. It's fun to watch him work. It's amazing how quickly he does stuff, even at shows.
I'm sitting right here, you know.
That's kind of why I said it.
Yeah. You're doing a great job.
I do need to hear that sometimes, you know.
Do we have any more questions out there, guys?
Amelia, you haven't seen
Scott
Scott
slower
Hanna?
when you don't have Jeff talking, right, Ken?
What's that, buddy?
I said it's kind of slower when you don't have Jeff talking all night long.
Yeah. That's that verbal diarrhea. He
Is
never
there
stops.
a particular convention moment that you remember, Declan, that like stands out to you most? Like, what are your favorite things about doing conventions?
That's a good question. For me, coming over from Ireland, it was more about, I didn't, the commerce of conventions wasn't something that I really knew anything about. Because to me, even getting tables, I was like, well, you must be invited to do this. You don't deserve just to get a table. But so I was told, no, you just apply. I was like, oh, okay. But the big thing for me was meeting other creators and getting to just talk, like, about the different tools that they used, or what it's like working with X, Y, and Z. That was huge. And part of meeting your heroes was a lot of it too. I got to meet JP Leon, like my second New York Comic Con, and I'll never forget that.
Oh man.
Those type of things, like you just don't. I think I talked to a lot of kind of newer creators, and I think a lot of them think they can just do it online, which you can, but there's no substitute for like the relationships you build with people just by talking to them and having dinner. Or
with that said, have you had any of the professional experiences that way? Like years ago, comic creators would go to conventions and meet editors and publishers and things of that nature, and a lot of that has changed because of the online route and nature of the business. But have you had any of those experiences of meeting new publishers and editors at conventions and getting work that way?
Meeting newer ones is more like, are you fucking paying your creators or what? Like that's more of it, I'm a bit more like I'm a fairly nice, polite guy, but like that kind of stuff sends me insane. A lot of it has been like just like slowly galvanizing like proper relationships with editors. And like I was on the way here, I just was passing through New York and I met like my current editor and an older editor, and I think I was talking to one editor recently, and the subject of maybe doing something together came up, and I realized I would have killed for this years ago, because you go there going, I hope I can meet somebody, and whoever's editing Daredevil or whatever, and like then now years later it's like they are looking up to you because they started after. I've been at Marvel like 10 years, so if somebody started 8 years ago thought that I was like a cool, brilliant professional, but I was only 2 years in going like, oh God, I hope they keep giving me work, But sorry, I've blanked on your question there. Sorry, Carla. What was?
I asked you what your ideal Saturday is.
It's this, but it's Friday.
I think the most important question I need to answer, Declan, is how far do you live from the Guinness factory?
I used to live a few miles away when I lived in Dublin. I'm so fucking sick of that place.
Oh,
like it is great. You should go and you visit. But over the years, I've brought so many friends who visited to that place. So I've seen it a million times. So
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Sorry,
it's pretty good. No, it is brilliant. It's lovely. Like it's and there's that lovely. Have you been at all?
No. A friend of mine, a couple years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago, we were gonna fly to Ireland and go to Guinness factory. We weren't even gonna get a place to stay. We were just gonna like sleep in bars or something. But we never went.
Good luck. No, the brewery, the Guinness brewery is great. There's also the Jameson distillery there, which is really good. But I've moved to the other side of the country now. I moved back to my hometown, the west of Ireland. So if you ever heard of the Cliffs of Moher, I live pretty close to them.
I would like to go though. I've got a lot of Irish in me. I did one of those 23andMe.
I must have just let that stay. I got nothing but Irish in me.
Yeah.
No, I had a friend who did the 23andMe thing, a girl from Dublin, and she was really disappointed. She was 100% Irish. I'm like, what did you think it was going to be? No, we live on an inbred island, like. But I do recommend Ireland to visit. It is actually a good place to visit, and people there I'm always told how nice everybody is in Ireland. It's not my experience, but.
Jason asked, how do Irish comics compare to American?
Along the same lines, but do Irish comics compare to American comics? Are they similar?
Well, there's no such thing as Irish comics necessarily. Like we don't have an industry the way there is in America. And so much, like when I was starting out, I had to go to the UK because that's really where the closest industry was. They have things like the Beano and Dandy and 2000 AD and stuff like that. There's nothing really like that in Ireland. So it's mainly creators from Ireland, doing comics. And a lot of us are very inspired by American stuff. Like, and there's lots working in American comics like Will Sliney, Stephen Mooney, Nate Stockman, Nick Roach. There's loads of us now. My joke is like, we're like, if you let the Irish in, the rest of us will sneak in the door, But so culturally, I wouldn't say it, like, I'm surprised we don't have more European influence because we're right on the edge of Europe. But I'd say we get mostly inspired by American, British stuff. Not to say that every stuff's the same. There are some like more original voices that aren't like as mainstream, say, as the rest of us. But it's also changing. A lot of huge manga influence now that there wasn't when I was a kid. It's hard to kind of pin down.
Do you do a lot of conventions over there?
Ryan's a great guy. I met him in New York a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, he was great. He was cool. I'd never met him before, and I love Spider-Man 2099. So
you're sorted. I know it was good, but you're all the. I mean, to be fair, all the Irish guys are great. Danny Earls is a new guy. Started out. He did Alien Annual that I wrote. It came out last month. He's great. A lot of really good guys.
Owen was Owen Marin. Is that?
Yeah, Owen.
He's very good as well.
There's a lot of us now. Like it's really nice. Like when I was starting out, the only person I could look to was Garth Ennis and John McCrae, really, who had done work in American comics, and that's very different now.
It was a very interesting time when you came in too, because you and Will Sliney sort of came in together at the same time.
Yeah, we just said we'd come over for a few months and just try. We were both doing books. I was doing 20 Days Later, and he was doing Farscape. Mm-hmm. So we were both doing American comics, and we just thought, sure, it was a good opportunity to come over and see if we could kind of make names for ourselves. And by the time I came back after a couple of months, I got my break, my in at Thunderbolts. Then I came to you, was like, you want to represent me?
And my favorite part of this is listening to and this is a joke that I've enjoyed for about 15 years. Listening to Declan say Thunderbolts or Thundercats may be my favorite thing in the world.
I always have to check myself.
Because he doesn't say thunder, he says thunder. So it's Thunderbolts and Thundercats.
Yeah, why am I cursed with 2 TH books?
It's not cursed. I think it's a treat for absolutely everybody.
Well, you pulled me aside and you asked if I had a speech impediment.
Yes.
Yeah, because I kept saying Thunderbolts. It's like, and I remember you give me a weird look. I'm like, why is he looking at me like that? I'm perfectly normal.
And my takeaway from it is, yes, but so does the rest of Ireland.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You seem to have a lot of these early conversations when you start up with your artists.
Oh yeah. Just let me just go in.
Do you have a speech impediment?
Yeah.
Great idea. Let me ask really intrusive, borderline offensive things, and then build lifelong friendships.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that to anybody.
Start at the very bottom, like below bottom, and then work your way up. Okay, I'm wrapping this one up now. If somebody's got another claim.
The guy that asked who your favorite Batman was, he claimed a Killer Croc. So.
Ooh, okay. I should have picked an easier character to draw.
I could have told you that.
I really walked into that one, didn't I? That's a rookie mistake, Shalvey. Well, I'm glad I didn't pick one that I hated drawing then.
What characters do you hate to draw?
Well, I shouldn't answer this. Penguin. I never really feel like I think I can draw a good penguin, but I've never drawn one I'm really happy with.
Interesting, because with the angular nature of some of your drawings,
I
would expect that to be something.
No, I agree. I think if I had if I was drawing a book and he was in it, I'd probably practice a bit and find my way into it. Mm-hmm. But often, like when you're drawing, stuff at conventions and stuff, people are asking you, and you on the spot have to come up with something. So every time that happens, you're taking a bit of a risk, going, I'll give this a go. And sometimes something comes down, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And other times you're like, ugh. I think I could do a very good penguin. I just don't have it in my head.
I love it. Like Declan with you with like Mr. Knight or, a character that you helped develop. How many times we hear from creators that have developed characters that a lot of times those characters become some of their least favorite to draw at conventions because they have to do it so often. Yeah.
I just came back from a show in Italy, and it was I think I drew 40 Mr. Knights. Yeah, and I remember one stage I think I joked like anything but Mr. Knight, and they were like, "Oh no, I'll come up with something else." I was like, "No, I'm just really it's fine. Like I'm happy to draw him. He's actually not. I can draw him no problem. Like thankfully it's not like some incredibly complicated thing. That was it. I've asked to draw some xenomorphs because of working on Alien, and they're a pain in the arse to draw. Oh yeah, and I didn't have any reference, so I was like trying to remember kind of what it looked like. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's there he is.
Nice.
I'm doing this wrong.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh yeah, better sign it.
Sircam wanted to let you know that he absolutely adored A Time Before Time and so very much appreciative that it ended so well.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That was it's technically the longest book I've ever worked on. Like 29 consecutive issues.
It's kind of funny with a title like that.
Yeah. No, thanks so much, man. Like it's those kind of creator-owned things that they're harder to keep going on your own, because like me and Rory basically like funded it and manage everything on it, and it's a lot of work, but we got to get to that store. We always had that end point in mind that we wanted to get to, and I'm really glad we got to it, because it's tough to manage creator wise. So thanks for picking it up, man. We wouldn't be able to get to at the end of it without you. Not you specifically, but many of you, plural.
Dan said, "Awesome, thank you, Declan." He was the one who got the Wolverine.
Oh, no problem, man. So I feel rude not looking at the thing when I'm trying to.
No, you're totally fine. Draw away. Mark Strong's here at the show. He said, "Don't say that. I want a Mr. Knight."
Well, I think I'm the only person who has, when they're asked to draw a character that they're known for, has to further clarify. Because it's like, oh, I'd really love a Moon Knight. I'm like, is it Moon Knight or is it Mr. Knight or is it Moon Knight with the big skull thing? Or and then I just get a confused look.
Yeah, I had to ask that several times today too.
Oh yeah, you get it.
Amelia said, "Just have him do it now and pick it up tomorrow." That's an easy way to get on the list. Are there any characters
for our viewers?
Sorry?
Do you have any questions for our viewers?
Sure. Who are you? Why am I here?
Ken, you want to tell a little bit about that? Hal was actually asking earlier, so
What's that?
about 4C and how it started.
Was born out of the pandemic, sort of. I started working a little bit with Larry Stroman, and then when the pandemic, when the lockdown was coming, I just got the idea of doing something like this. So I called it SketchCon, and I got a bunch of artists together, and we did like a live event like this. I think we had 12 creators on over the course of a day. And we just started doing it weekly, and we're coming on, I think, 3 years now of doing sketch ops. Now we don't do sketch ops every week, but I mean, we probably do 30 a year safely, right, Bacon?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Lately, it seems
and
like
art drops and things like that. And then there are days we just come on here and just act like a bunch of doofuses. But yeah, it's been pretty successful, and we're able to use this platform to do live things at shows and such, and so it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff has come out of the pandemic, like just people who had ideas to do stuff, just never getting around to it. Then all of a sudden, just had a little bit of time to mull things over and go, actually, I'm going to give this a go. And a lot of cool stuff's come out of it.
And luckily for us, these live sketch shows are still pretty popular. And we have a nice following on Tuesday nights. We have a couple artists who, I wouldn't say work exclusively with us for the sketch ops, but they would prefer to do things with us than do them. A guy like Doug Mankey, for instance, he doesn't like doing conventions, and his answer is, "Why should I do a convention when I can sit at home and draw on my couch for Ken?" So, but he is doing Planet. So, and Pack Leasing we've done a couple times now.
Cool.
The same way, just it's just an easier platform. We try to make things as easy as we can for you guys. And although there are a lot of, I would say probably 7 out of 10 artists that we have on are usually nervous coming on to the show. They don't know what it's gonna be like, and they don't know what they're gonna do. And then by the time we get to the end of the show, they're like, "Let's do it again," or "Let's keep going." The first time,
definitely no. What's it called? I can't think of the name of it. Stockholders. What's this thing where kidnapped victims starts to love their captors? Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, definitely none of that. No.
The first time
this is great. Let's do it again.
Yeah, the first time we had Bill Morrison on, we told him, "We'll stay on as long as you want, and as long as people are claiming." And we went for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was crazy. And think about it; he's drawing.
That is not happening.
We haven't done one of those in a long time. We try to keep them a little tighter now.
I know. I do some live streams of my own, like the odd time. I just don't really have time for them. I think I did a Kickstarter, so I arranged some for that. But I'm generally just working on like writing and drawing stuff. So I just I only really do stuff like this at shows, and I enjoy doing them at shows. They're fun, especially the headshots, because like I'm drawing Killer Croc here, but I'm doing it with the gray wash first, get a bit of texture, and then I'll bump it up with some lines. And you don't mess around with that on pages, because they need to be of a certain quality. The nice thing about sketches is you can just kind of play it by ear a little and come up with some more interesting results sometimes, which is what I like about it. What I don't like about it when it isn't going your way, and then you start freaking out and trying to figure out how do I save this.
We do have a claim available, guys. Anybody out there wants to get a sketch from Declan?
It's going to be a short show tonight, guys. We only do an hour for this, so Declan can get back to his life. So if you want to get a sketch, let us know.
We were just going to watch season 7 of The Simpsons. Anyway.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good way to spend some time.
Declan, that reminds me, because we've talked about The Simpsons a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was raised on the thing.
Who's your actual favorite character on that show?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, as a kid, I related to Bart, and then in more recent years, I relate more to Homer.
Yeah, which is scary.
And now I relate more to Grandpa Simpson.
Oh, jeez.
I was saying this the other day. There's a bit where he's playing a video game with Lisa or something, like, and he's like, "Oh, wait!" So he loses. Like, I got down on the floor for this. I relate to that a lot these days. It's one thing to get down on the floor, but to get back up off it.
There are some things you hear on The Simpsons. You go, how did they get that past the censors?
Yeah, yeah.
Like my favorite is when Homer was in charge of he became the trash commissioner or something like that, and he just putting everything into a big hole, and and Marge says, Homer, it's just a giant trash hole, and he goes, Ixnay on the ash hole tray.
Actually, some of my favorite jokes are the Irish ones, like
the prime minister. I'm the prime minister of Ireland. Homer's being carried around Moe's by Lenny and Carl, and they're flying him around like Superman, and he has a whiskey barrel over his head, and he says, "I'm the prime minister of Ireland."
I somehow missed that one. The ones I like are even more offensive. It's like with a whacking day, and it's like, it was just invented as a rule to beat up the Irish, because we took many a lump, but it was all in good fun. Or Mr. Burns is he's laughing at something. I can't remember what it was. It was a crippled Irishman. What was I laughing at? Oh yes, the crippled Irishman.
Although they've gone after the Irish pretty hard, but one of the best jokes they ever had was a Treehouse episode, and it was against Scotland, because it was the island of Dr. Moreau parody.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And Willie is like a wolf type character, and Homer's warned, careful, he might slobber on your crotch. And Homer's response is, I've been around a Scotsman before.
Oh, look, any of the Willie stuff is, to be fair.
Oh,
well, that's funny because
I didn't answer the question. Sorry, which is favorite? Might be Mo.
See, it was funny because my next question regarding The Simpsons would be, if you were at Moe's, and I know I'm crossing brands here, but they're all Groening creations, and we're big fans of Futurama. If you had the option to have a beer at Moe's, would you take Lenny or would you take Zap Brannigan?
Oh, Zap. I think me and Zap would have a great time. I also think the most sexual part are the boobies.
Yeah.
No, I think Bender would be better, I think, but no, Zap would be a fun time, I think.
That's funny. At GalaxyCon, we've had many interactions with John DiMaggio, and when you get him going, there's really no difference between him and Ben.
I think you can tell from the performance.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things, and I was telling him, it was a beautiful moment. I was watching a Dodgers game one time, and the Dodgers regularly bring in celebrities into the broadcast booth to talk during games. They let John, after a couple of beers, call an inning for the Dodgers in the broadcast booth as Bender.
Oh, wow.
No.
So I remember listening, and I asked John about it, and he didn't really answer. He just looked at me. I'm like, John, how much of that was Bender and how much of that was beer? And if you have the chance, it's on YouTube, but it's a wonderful moment.
I gotta go look that up.
It's funny, it's offensive, just a wonderful Bender moment. But yeah, John is an excellent guy, and I love the work he did on the voice work he did. Was it Zod or on Disenchantment?
Oh yeah. I can't remember now. Sorry.
Because he has so many great in his shows. He has so many great lines. Like there's one in that where he's having this moment of sorrow. It's like, I'm no king. I'm not even a healthy man.
I'm nearly done with this one now. So if I know how much more time we have.
It's about 5 more minutes, guys. Anybody else want to claim on? If not, we'll call it early here tonight, guys. What's that, Ken?
Said, speak now, forever hold your peace.
And that reminds me, Declan, when you first gave me artwork all those years ago, I thought it was amazing. There was a Roberto sketch in one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wanted it, but
No, I think we ended up getting rid of it. And if I'm not mistaken, there may have been a hedonism bot at one point.
there definitely was a hedonism bot as well. Yeah.
No drugs.
Didn't they do a couch gag with The Simpsons? Where
I think so.
The Simpsons go into the room and hedonism bots in the living room, and Homer like rides off with him, like while sitting on the couch. It was amazing.
I think you're right. That was pretty funny.
I'm surprised you remember that. That's a long time ago.
I go back. We both watch it a lot. I mean,
yeah. No, I mean that you remember I had a drawing of it. Like,
oh yeah. Well, I just know you're a big fan of the property. Like you said, you own like actual animation cells from The Simpsons.
I have a cell, yeah. My girlfriend at the time got for my birthday, and it's Lenny sitting at Mr. Burns's desk.
Oh, when he took over, when he was running the plant. Okay.
Ken, you should have brought Bill Morrison on tonight.
Jason Harris, Declan is not even close to Russ Braun.
Oh, really? Okay.
Russ Braun, you could be like, somebody claims a full figure Spider-Man, and he goes, okay. And by the time he takes the claim banner down, he's like, done.
Oh, well, I'm not fast at this by any means. No,
he's ridiculous. I love Russ. We saw John DiMaggio at a show, and I had him sign a 9x12 piece of board, Declan.
Oh,
and
really?
Then Bill Morrison did this to it.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. There's your
Look at that.
croc.
Awesome.
So it took a bit longer for all the scales on the back.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. We're going to end the show at 1 hour, so we don't want to go too crazy. We didn't get any more claims, so thank you so much, Declan, for doing the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank everybody out there for tuning in and claiming. We really appreciate it. We'll have to have you on like a regular Tuesday show. I think we'll get more claims and stuff. It's tough on weekends to do stuff, because people have lives.
There's just the time difference. But I work late anyway, so it's not too hard.
But really appreciate you. Don't log off when we exit the air. But I want to thank everybody. I didn't see. I'm reading what Bacon sent to me, but we really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And we will see you Tuesday. I don't know where we might be doing Wheelie Deals with Anthony. I'm not sure.
All right.
I'll let you know. But thank you so much.
Oh, cheers.